The Soul Chaperone, written by Jason M. Burns. Narrated by Jason M. Burns. Season 1, A Tough Nut to Crack. Episode 17, PB and Oy Vey. My eyes open on a bedroom, though it's not my own. This one actually has taste, feng shui, and a real sense of order. Three things my entire life has been lacking since Anna passed. The memory foam mattress I'm lying on adheres to my body like a factory mold to an action figure hot off the assembly line. Only I don't want to produce any action at all. I just want to stay here, soaking in the comfort. The mattress somehow manages to be both firm and soft at the same time. It's delightful. The last few days have taken such a physical toll on my body. I deserve a long rest. It doesn't help that the pillow I'm nestled into feels like a lavish helmet, manufactured to protect my head at all costs. It hugs my melon like my mother's bosom did when I was a helpless newborn, and for the first time in a long time, I feel at peace. What a weird dream that was, though. The whole repressed experience was a little too meta for my particular tastes. Not to mention that my subconscious turned the darling of my childhood, the old man of the mountain, into a demonic villain. I'm not sure how I feel about that at all. Anyway, at the very least, what these last 48 hours have taught me, including that bizarre little red schoolhouse hallucination, is that I need to start associating with some normal, non-supernatural folks. My brain is steeped in the paranormal these days, and frankly, that's just not normal. I roll over onto my side and pull the comforter up to my neck, snuggling beneath its warmth. Next to the bed there is a nightstand, and on top of it is a stockpile of peanut butter jars, all of them my favorite brand and desired chunkiness. In addition, there is a disposable spoon still encased in its protective plastic sleeving. I don't know where I am or how I got here, but it sure seems to be hitting all of the right beats. Hitting. Yeah, that's something. I was in the Jeep. I was really drunk. Rod was driving. Jermaine. We hit the guardrail. I was in rough shape. My leg! I spring up in the bed like a vampire rising from its coffin and frantically pull back the covers. My right leg is badly bruised and has a fresh, never-before-seen scar running the length of my shin, but to my surprise, there is no longer bone sticking out of flesh. Who could have fixed such a gruesome compound fracture so cleanly, and how could it have healed so quickly? I stretch the leg out, flexing it at the knee. Although sore, I am in far better shape than someone should be who recently had their fibula exposed for the world to see. The only way I could be on the mend in such a compressed period of time would be through mystical means, which poses the question, why would somebody who wants me dead go through the trouble of fixing me up before they broke me again? I pull myself to the side of the bed. The memory foam refills itself where it cradled my body only moments before. I place my feet onto the floor and stand. Between the muscular atrophy that has set in and the tenderness in the bone, I flop back down onto the mattress. Whether it truly remembers me or not, I'll never know. Leaning against the footboard of the bed is an ornate walking cane. I reach out and grab hold of the shaft, which is a carved hardwood, most likely acacia by the looks of it. The handle has been sculpted into a miniature version of the old man of the mountain. I'm glad to see a familiar face. I palm the old man, drive the tip of the cane into the floor, and then brace my unsteady weight against it as I stand. This time I manage to stay vertical. Using the cane like a center spindle of a turntable, I revolve around it, taking in the full extent of my environment. Other than the bed and nightstand, the room is sparsely furnished. There is a chaise chair in the corner where my clothes are folded and stacked neatly, an antique Chevelle mirror with the glass cleaned and free of streaks, and an old trunk utilized for interior beautification rather than functionality. I stand in complete stillness and listen, though other than the distant din of forced air circulating through the ductwork, I hear nothing. I hobble over to the door and try the handle. Someone has locked it from the outside. Not exactly an encouraging detail. It takes me a minute, but I limp over to the opposite side of the room where the one window is. I pull the heavy, light-canceling drapes aside and discover only solid wall. So much for a daring escape from however many stories up I am. How did you get yourself into this mess? I say to myself. But more importantly, how are you going to get yourself out of it? Although I don't consciously make the decision to do so, my body makes a shaky straightaway for the Chevelle mirror. I try to stop myself, but I can't. It's as if someone else is behind the wheel and directing me to where they want me to go. I reach the mirror and my own reflection, but there is something off about it. It's me, no doubt, but there's an extra layer present that wasn't there the last time I looked at myself, or any of the times I have ever looked at myself. It's me, you idiot, I declare to myself. Although my lips move with the words, they are not my own, nor is the voice that comes out of my mouth. It is, however, somewhat familiar to me, as if I were doing a drunken impression of someone I had intimate knowledge of. I recognize the voice, but not enough to make an immediate identification. It's Samuel. My eyes go wide as I piece together what has happened. You possessed me! I nod to myself. I slipped in just before you went unconscious. Probably wouldn't have been able to pull it off had you not been so drunk. That was the cold I felt, I say, disgusted by Samuel's actions. Forced possession of another human being is the lowest of the low. Don't lecture me on mystical morals, newbie, Samuel hisses. I've been navigating this world long before you were even in it. I saw an opportunity to get closer to my body and I took it. I point a condemning finger at myself as I begin to grasp the full extent of Samuel's vision. You're Trojan horsing me. He laughs through me, an experience that leaves me feeling profoundly violated. Calm down. I'm your best bet at getting out of here, so do what I say and maybe you'll live long enough to sleep it off in your own bed again. Where are we? I ask. The witch's place, he says through my mouth like I'm some kind of vaudevillian ventriloquist puppet. Her creature brought us here last night. And it didn't sense that you were stowing away in my body? I shrug my shoulders. It eats dead things and I'm not dead. I'll take whatever win I can get. Forced possession makes my skin crawl, and I'm none too happy about Samuel having unfettered access to my memories. But the unknown of what Violet has planned for me makes this unlikely partnership with Samuel a lesser of two evils situation. What do you want me to do? I ask in surrender. A devious grin stretches across my face. You're going to make a big scene in the room, screaming and banging about until the me who is not me comes in to quiet you down. That's when I'm going to hijack my body, duke it out with whoever is holding it hostage, and cast that son of a bitch out so you can trap him. First of all, it's her dog occupying your abandoned body, I tell him, which Samuel seems surprised by based on my eyebrows raising to attention. And second, I have no idea how to trap a soul. I turn away from the mirror. I do. Samuel walks me over to the trunk and flips it open. This will do just fine. All we need is something to draw a sigil on the inside of the lid with. I look around the room. Apparently Sharpies are in short supply during a kidnapping. Yeah, might be a problem. As plush as it is, this is still a prison. Samuel turns my body around to face the bed. I feel his underlying eyes focus in on the nightstand. Then we improvise. We walk over to the nightstand and I take one of the jars of peanut butter in hand, though it's technically Samuel who is holding it. Possession is a complicated thing. We twist off the lid and peel back the thin protective layer of plastic. Kneeling in front of the open trunk, Samuel directs my fingers down into the unsoiled nut butter, digging out a gooey wad that will serve as our monosaturated ink. Memorize this symbol, Samuel tells me as he uses my fingers to sketch a couple of squiggly lines and an emaciated Christmas tree looking thing on the underside of the lid. This sigil will hold any soul so long as the sigil itself remains intact. It's a dog, I remind him. Won't he just lick it off? The real thing would, but this is a soul we're talking about, he says. We complete the design, smearing the magical mark onto the lid. Any leftover peanut butter is quickly vacuumed off of my fingers with my mouth. I'm pretty sure I did this on my own, but the line between who's pulling what strings is getting blurrier with each passing second that Samuel is squatting inside of me. Okay, it's time for you to go, I say. This brain isn't big enough for the both of us. We stand and make our way for the door, shuffling over to it with the help of the cane. I can feel Samuel prepare himself for the fight to come, crouching down like an Olympic sprinter waiting for the gun to go off. With the cane now held in both hands, I begin to wildly rap on the door. Let me out of here! I scream, banging louder. If you're going to kill me, then do it already. Like my grandfather used to say when I'd be too scared to swing the bat in Little League games, shit or get off the pot, kid. I continue whacking the door with the cane until I hear locks being unbolted on the other side. I step back to allow the door to be open unimpeded. 2 more locks are unfastened, and then I see the knob begin to jiggle with life. "This is it," Samuel whispers. "Stay cool, and when I see an opening, I'm going to take it." The door opens and in walks Samuel's body, piloted by Violet's dear dead dog. His lips are pulled back, once again revealing his set of disgusting teeth to me. Based on the severity of the stains alone, I'd guess that Samuel was a smoker for most of his life. There probably weren't a lot of dentist visits either. A low, guttural growl bellows out from the body's belly. The hair on its head is crested into a fin. The veins in its neck swell in violent anticipation. This is one agitated soul. "I demand to be," I begin to say, only to be interrupted by the aggressive barking of a man possessed by a dog. Based on the type of deep-throated bark coming out of his body, I'd say Violet's furry friend was one of the larger breeds, a cane corso or bull mastiff, which means Samuel may have a bigger fight ahead of him than he expects. "Now!" he screams through me, penetrating the barking bedlam. I feel the extra layer of my inner character peel away as Samuel's soul expels itself. It surges forward out of my mouth and entering through his own, instantly choking the dog's yapping. Everything falls quiet. I lean in closer. "Are you in the captain's chair?" Samuel's eyes go wide and his expression turns rabid. A bloodthirsty howl escapes from his throat as he reaches up and begins to claw at his own face. Fingernails drive deep scratches into his flesh, causing 100-year-old blood to bubble to the surface. I slink away as Samuel's body begins to convulse, a war waging deep within. "Don't just stand there, you idiot!" Samuel hollers out as he fights off his own flailing hands. "Hold me down!" I toss the cane aside and drive my wounded body forward, tackling Samuel to the floor. As I try to restrain his arms, the dog inside of him does what dogs do best and clamps onto me with Samuel's jaws. I shriek as he bites down on my shoulder, piercing my skin with those rotten teeth. He gnaws on my shoulder like a chew toy, but I don't let go. Somehow I manage to keep his arms tied up long enough for Samuel to gain the upper hand. "Here it comes," he warns just before his body begins to writhe. I release my grip and lean away from him as he climbs to his feet, hacking on the soul he is struggling to dislodge. I slide across the floor to the trunk, positioning my hands on the lid. "I'm ready when you are." Keeling over at the waist, Samuel makes continuous attempts to cough up the possessive parasite until the first signs of an indistinct orb appears between his lips. He throws himself backwards, aiming his mouth at the trunk, and drives his own back into the wall. The Heimlich-like force ejects the orb, which flutters through the air and lands in the trunk. Nothing but net. I slam the lid closed, presumably trapping the soul of the dead dog inside. The trunk shakes and shimmies, but the soul does not, cannot, escape. I really need to sit down and learn some of these soul chaperone life hacks if I can live long enough to stay on the job. "You okay?" I ask Samuel as he dabs at the scratches on his face in the mirror. "Fine," he says without much fanfare. "It's good to be back in my body. It's been a long time." He stares at his own reflection, struggling to find comfort in his old skin. "So we can get out of here now, right?" I ask. "Nope, I need to take you to see the Violet woman." He points to the trunk. "He was sent here to bring you downstairs. If we try to get out of here now, we won't make it down the driveway." Any optimism I have for my future quickly fades away. "I'm a soul looking for his door if you take me to see her. You know that, right?" "I won't let anything happen to you," he assures. And based on these new memories that prick of a pup left behind in my head, she's up to some pretty serious shit. We should learn more. For all we know, it may have something to do with whatever Todd is up to. "I already know enough," I say helplessly. "I just want to go home." Samuel makes his way toward the door. "Then stand there and play the role of the idiot. Shouldn't be too difficult for you, right?" "She stuffed your body with her dog," I tell him. "The Samuel she knows is not exactly the Samuel we're going in there with. She's too smart and too damn powerful to fall for any of this sitcom shit." Samuel's entire demeanor changes. His presence becomes more grandiose, as if it's a matter of pride to hold himself a certain way. His gait is awkward yet calculated, a four-legged creature adapting to a new way of life. He doesn't so much walk over to me as he does stalk my personal space. When he gets close enough, he nudges at my back with his nose and pushes me out the door. "I was a German Shepherd way longer than I was a man," he says. "So yeah, I think I can play the part." Thank you for listening. For more information, visit thesoulchaperone.com.